June 24th, 1987, Rosario, Argentina. A star was born. We're stepping back in time to uncover the remarkable early years of Lionel Messi, from a shy little boy in Rosario, Argentina, to a teen lighting up Barcelona's academy before he ever touched the first team. And trust me, for one of the greatest, things didn't exactly start like a Hollywood script. In fact, there were setbacks, doubts, even a contract written on a napkin. But every twist led to the legend that was about to unfold. It all begins on June 24th, 1987, in the city of Rosario, Argentina. That date is now basically a national holiday for football fans. Rosario was a tough, working-class city famous for being football mad. And into this atmosphere, Lionel Andres Messi was born, the third of four children. His father, Jorge Messi, worked in a steel factory. His mother, Celia, held the family together as a part-time cleaner. They weren't wealthy, but what they had was plenty of passion. And in Rosario, passion meant football. And from the start, little Leo had a ball practically glued to his foot. Family members recall him toddling around, constantly chasing it, which, let's be honest, was a hint of what was to come. One person who had a huge influence on Messi was his maternal grandmother, Celia. She was the one who first saw his potential, and she was the one who often took him to matches and encouraged his obsession. Sadly, Celia passed away when Messi was just 10 years old, but he never forgot her. In fact, the famous celebration you see him do, pointing two fingers to the sky, that's his tribute to her. Every goal he scores, even today, is a quiet thank you to the woman who believed in him first. It's a small gesture, but it tells you everything about Messi's character. He never forgot where he came from or who he owed. Growing up in Rosario wasn't easy. Football wasn't just a sport, it was the oxygen of the neighborhood. Leo had two older brothers, Rodrigo and Matthias, who were, let's say, less than gentle when it came to playing football with their younger, smaller brother. But here's the thing, getting knocked around made Messi tougher. By the age of 5, he joined his first club, Grandoli FC, coached by none other than his father. He wasn't really noticed at first, tiny, quiet kid, until Messi touched the ball. Then suddenly the entire field stopped. Like, hold up, is this kid 5 or secretly 15? Soon, he moved to Newell's Old Boys, the big team in Rosario. By 8 years old, Messi was already turning heads at Newell's Old Boys, one of Rosario's iconic clubs. Little Messi was so tiny that when the older kids came charging at him, people watching worried he'd get crushed, but instead, he just dribbled around everyone as if he was weaving through cones and training. He scored goals like he was in cheat mode. In fact, he was part of a youth team nicknamed the Machine of 87 that reportedly won over 500 games in just a few years. We're talking about a kid scoring goals for fun against boys almost a foot taller. But there was one tiny problem. Literally. By age 11, Messi was diagnosed with a serious problem, a growth hormone deficiency. Essentially, his body wasn't producing enough to grow normally. At that time, Lionel was much smaller than the boys his age, and without treatment, those close to him feared he'd never develop enough to play professionally. The treatment worked, but it was incredibly expensive, about $1,000 a month, and his family simply couldn't afford it. Newell's Old Boys showed interest, but backed out of covering the costs. Then came River Plate, one of Argentina's biggest clubs. Messi even trialed with them in Buenos Aires, and let's be real, he passed with flying colors, but the club hesitated to commit to paying for his therapy. In hindsight, a move that River Plate fans probably still cry about in their sleep, so the family's hopes dimmed. That is, until through an agent and his contacts in Barcelona said, why not trial at Barcelona? In 2000, Jorge Messi took a leap of faith and brought his son to Spain. The initial trials were jaw-dropping. Young Messi at 13 was stunning coaches with his control, vision, and dribbling. He wasn't just good, he was something special. But there was a complication. Barcelona were also hesitant. Signing a foreign 13-year-old, paying for his medical treatment, and investing in his family was a huge step. Meetings went back and forth until one day, the youth technical director, Carlos Reshak, decided enough was enough. Reshak didn't have official documents handy, so he pulled out a paper napkin. That's right, he literally wrote Messi's provisional contract on the back of a napkin at a restaurant. The words basically said, "We commit to signing this kid." And with that, the future of football changed forever. The family relocated to Catalonia, and Barcelona agreed to cover Messi's medical treatment. Slowly but surely, the hormone therapy started working. Messi grew. He eventually stood at 170 centimeters. That's 5'7", smaller than others, but with his low center of gravity, it almost made him an even bigger nightmare for defenders. Adjusting to a new culture, though, wasn't easy. Messi was quiet, painfully shy, and missed home. Imagine being 13, living behind your friends, your comfort, and everything you know for a different part of the world. But going to La Masia isn't the worst place to head to. He didn't complain, he just played. Soon enough, the ball did the talking. And what a conversation it had. Boy, did he play. He quickly rose through Barcelona's youth academy, La Masia, where players like Xavi and Iniesta were already being molded. Coaches described Messi as a PlayStation player in real life. Defenders said later that he was impossible to stop, not because he was faster or stronger, but because his brain was 2 seconds ahead of everyone else's. Messi flew through the Barcelona youth ranks. By the time he was 16, coaches knew, this kid isn't just good, he's different. His under-17 and under-20 performances had people whispering, this is it, the next great one. By the early 2000s, Messi was shining through every age group at La Masia, Barca's youth academy. Coaches described him as unstoppable. He wasn't just scoring goals, he was scoring Messi goals, solo runs, mazy dribbles, finishes that left jaws on the floor. His teammates were sometimes frustrated because who wants to defend against Leo in training every day? But they also admitted he was making them better. Like every kid, Messi had role models. His biggest idol, Diego Maradona. Not surprising for an Argentine left-footed dribbler with divine balance. What's interesting is that Messi never wanted to be Maradona. He wanted to learn from him but stay himself. That humility, avoiding the next Maradona tag, helped him carve his own entirely separate legacy. But Messi also admired Pablo Aimar of Valencia, someone he modeled his game after in the early years. By the start of the 2004-05 season, the club knew it was only a matter of time. The boy who once couldn't grow was now growing into a superstar. Messi was still officially a youth player, but word had spread inside the club. There's a kid in the academy who's about to blow everyone's mind. Messi was already training with the older squads. Teammates described him as incredibly shy, barely speaking, head always down, but the second the ball touched his feet, even senior defenders were left dizzy. Coaches whispered about him, journalists began asking, and senior players occasionally caught a glimpse of the skinny Argentine running circles around defenders. And then it was sealed when he started training with the first team during friendly matches. Ronaldinho himself warned defenders on the pitch, watch the kid, he's special. The world didn't quite know who Lionel Messi was yet, but Barcelona did. And it was only a matter of time before everyone else found out too. From a small boy in Rosario dribbling around older kids, to overcoming medical challenges, to literally signing his future with a pen and a napkin, Messi was now on the cusp of professional football. The 2004-05 season would launch him into the spotlight, but those first 17 years, they built the foundation, a story of family sacrifice, unshakable belief, and a kid who simply couldn't stop playing with a ball at his feet. That's the early story of the boy who once couldn't grow.